Carlos Rivera. He's feeling it. Good morning. Welcome to the Psychomaniac Crush It Trading Show. We are going to crush it today. This is the Psychomaniac crew. And we have the best top 1% strategy in the market. And actually, we have a couple of them, but the one we're focused on right now is the Crush It Trading Zone. Okay, you guys, we're going to go over these trades here that happened yesterday. We'll talk about some stuff for today. But what's so cool about this strategy, y'all can admit it, right, is it's a get up and go strategy. That means you don't have to stare at charts for hours on end before you get in this morning, right? You don't have to do any of that. You can just get a good night's sleep, have your coffee, your breakfast. You come into work, you set your charts up, you stretch your arms out, and you're like, let's go. What is going to happen today, right? The markets bow down to us. We have this awesome strategy. I'm going to show you how we play it right now. Okay, so Greg, who's not here because he's got a work meeting, so we're going to record this, took coin yesterday, the only one. Now, let's talk about Greg. Greg is learning the Crush It Trading strategy, and what I like about Greg is the psychology piece, okay? Greg has been trading, for 6 weeks, something like that, live. He stayed in the simulator for 6 weeks and got burned. What is today? Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday? I don't even know what day it is. Thursday. He got burned on Tuesday. Blew his account. And I think he already showed us that yesterday. But he's like, man, he's back in it. He's all in on coin. And I'm proud of him. He did a good job. Didn't let that, he did not let that loss crush his psyche, right? He's like, I'm back in it. And it's like he wiped out hard and he's like, gets back on. He's like, let's go. He's all in. Like, he's all in. You got to give him credit, you guys, because most of us would have burned our account and we would have been scared shitless the next day. I'm sure he was a little scared, but he was like, screw it. He's going for it. He wants it that bad. When the desire supersedes the fear to win, you are going to win, okay? When your desire to be favored is bigger than your desire to fail, you are going to win. You are on the road to victory. So hats off to him. So here's the coin trade, you guys. Let's talk about this right now. Where is it? Am I on the right day here? Okay, here we go. We talked about some of this here. So here it is. We got the Crush It Zone set up. It's as simple as that. No questions asked. Price hits the Crush It Zone. Greg doesn't think twice. Clicks the button. He's all in. I mean, he's YOLO'd the account right now. And if you're the first time listening to this and you're wondering why he's YOLOing and you think he's crazy, that's because you don't know the Crush It Trading strategy in the top 1% and how favored we are with this strategy. Okay, but once you understand it, then it's going to make sense to you and you're going to see why we YOLO. Because we can't lose, right? We can't lose. Here it is right here. A lot of you like that 10-second setup, but you can see this was a 10-second setup where the 50 is far away from the Crush It Zone. And Greg and I had this conversation that day. He's like, he lost all that money, and he was like, hey, you know what? He goes, I think I should probably wait for the 10-second setup. And I said, why? I said, Greg, if you can wait for the 10-second setup if it makes you feel good, okay? And that's all it's going to do. It's going to make you feel good. It's not going to do any, there's no other benefit to it. What if I lose? It's going to give me the opportunity for the loss. And I said, here's the thing. The probability on coin is 80% win rate on this strategy, right? So if it's an 80% win rate, let's just do some quick logic here, right? And prove me wrong. I'm all ears. But if you have an 80% win rate at this orange line at the Crush It Zone, you can do a couple different things. You can wait for the 10-second setup, right, and get in here and take your win at $1.92. And in case you do get stopped out, right, up here, you can take a $2 loss. Or you can just say, screw it, jump out blindfolded because you have an 80% chance of winning, and you have a $3 move off the crush it zone. And if you get stopped out, it's $1.08. So once again, I've said this many times, you can do a couple different things. You can make sure you can put your training wheels on your bike, right? And you can make sure that it's going to work out and take your $1.92 and be happy. Or you can just jump in at the crush it zone, right? And get a small stop loss or make $3. Here's the thing, you guys. Okay, if we're losing 15%, right? And I get closer into my stop area, I'm going to have a smaller stop loss. Okay, is this making sense to you guys? I know it makes sense to more. Is there anyone that doesn't understand what I'm trying to tell you right now? Because if you don't, tell me, because I want to make sure you understand this. Because it's so unnatural, and everybody in trading tells you that you got to have confirmation. You got to have confirmation. You got to have confirmation. It's like saying, hey, the moon goes around the earth, 4 times in a month or a quarter? I don't even know how many times it goes around. And saying, I want to make sure this time it actually does make that trip around the globe, right? And it's like this. It's a stupid analogy, but here's my point, is there's nothing you can do about it. It's just going to make the trip regardless. Might be a minute late. It might be a minute early. Who knows? But my point is this, you can't change it. So when the probability is the probability, especially after 200 samples, you cannot change the fact that it's an 80% setup. Okay? It might change to 70% over the next couple months, but here's the thing about these setups. It doesn't go from 80% to 70% in a day. It slowly works its way into it, so you see it and feel it coming. But even if you had a 70% win rate, and I've done the math on this, you only need a 60% win rate to double your money every single month. A 60% win rate every single month, okay? So hopefully this is making sense, you guys. You got to be fearless when you get into these things, okay? We have data sheets what do we got? 7 tickers with data on it, and we know exactly for the last 200 samples what they've been giving us. There's no reason to question it. There's no reason to question it anymore, okay? Either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. And like I was saying before, remember this 2 days ago, right? When we got stopped out. Good morning, Scotty G. We said this before. Either one of two things is going to happen. It's either A, going to work out, or B, it's not going to work out. Okay? When you start hoping, right, that something's going to happen, there's a good chance that it's not going to work out. Okay? And you know it. And even if it does, are you going to be proud if you come back and say, I hung on to that for an hour and a half and it worked, and you just got to learn how to hang on, okay? Sometimes, yeah, sometimes no. But like I said, if you do the math, okay, the math works out. If it just doesn't work out, you just get the hell out and you keep moving on, okay? Because you guys seen the crush it zone play many times over the last 6-8 months, excuse me, and you know that it either works or it doesn't. You know it works, right? So quit questioning it, all right? So, if you're taking an 8% to 15% loss on these, right, and you're only getting about 3 to 4 a month, right? I mean, think about it. You got it on. You got the stats are on your side either way. So, if you have any questions, just let me know. We'll talk about it. And hey, we're getting to the end of the month, and we're going to end the first month of the Double Your Money Challenge. So each and every one of you are going to have to get on a Zoom call with me and look into my beautiful blue eyes and tell me what you did for the month. And we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do for May, okay? It's going to have to happen, okay? We're going to figure some stuff out. That includes myself. And by the way, I am the perfect example. I've been playing NVIDIA, and I've taken a lot of these trades. I didn't take the one yesterday, but I'll get into it later, but I haven't been able to get anywhere in my account strictly 100% for poor management. That was it. And like I said, a lot of it had to do with trying to work through that new platform. I was trying to figure out what the brackets and stop losses, and a little bit of pain in the ass. Not to mention I'm trying to talk to you guys, run the show, take my own trades, and so it can be somewhat hectic on my end, not looking for excuses, but I have poorly managed my NVIDIA trade, okay? So let's get into NVIDIA. Speaking of that, congratulations, Dawn, who rocked it yesterday on NVIDIA. You know that, right? Now, Dawn has been, I don't want to say she's been struggling. She's not a struggler. She's a winner, right? She is a winner. She doesn't give up. And I know why I know she doesn't give up, because she's been trading for how many years and she hasn't stopped yet. And I would have to say that, talking with her over the last week or two, seeing the feelings and the psyche that she's going through, and trying to keep her on track there, I think she's starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel, right? I was telling Dawn, don't worry about any other ticker. You stay with NVIDIA. Now, Dawn and I have been trading the same ticker. Listen to this. Just NVIDIA since the beginning of April. I'm at negative $70. Dawn has over doubled her money on the same exact trades. The question is why am I negative, and why has she doubled her money? She's managing the trade. 20% of this, you guys, when you think about you want confirmation at the crush it zone, that's like 20% of the trade. Okay, the other 80% is how you manage it. How do you manage the trade? And I should say it's easy to manage, but you can see that it's kind of it's been difficult. But hats off to Dawn, and maybe I'm stepping out on a limb here by saying this, but I think, like I said, I think for the first time in her trading career, she's actually seeing something that could be actually working, and is showing her, wow, I think I can actually be a winning, consistent day trader on this. So hats off. Dawn, don't give up. Please keep pushing on NVIDIA. Don't waste your time thinking about anything else. Who cares what people are doing on other tickers, how much money they're making? You focus in on the strategy. You crush it, okay? Just get confident, get bold, speak it out, and keep doing what you're doing, okay? Don't let your stop losses get more than 15%. If they get 18, whatever, max is 20, but just keep it. Like I said, here is NVIDIA. Look at 3 touches on the crush it zones here, and let me reiterate what I'm trying to say here, okay? It either happens or it doesn't, right? Here it is. It either happens or it doesn't. And you know what? Dawn said, screw it. She went all in, got to the zero line. She goes, I'm all out. She was up $1,000 on a $2,000 account, okay? So she's what, $5,700 now or something, $5,600 on this. Okay, now first half of the month, you guys, you got to understand NVIDIA, and Ryan, you can attest to this too. We were down. We couldn't get a trade for nothing, but sticking to the game plan, okay? Do you know why we plan, right? We make plans so that when shit hits the fan, we divert confusion, all right? We stick with the plan. If you stick with the plan, in the last week, Dawn has doubled her money in her account. It doesn't matter if she's losing. You can't look at the first half of the month and go, oh, you know what? This isn't working. I'm jumping over to Mr. Oh, you know what? Look, NVIDIA's working again. Let me go back to NVIDIA. Oh, shoot, it's not working again. You can't do that. You just got to stay your ground. Hold your ground. Stay true to it. Keep your stop losses small. And I promise you, you're going to double your money every single month, okay? You're going to do it almost every single month, okay? You might have a month or two in a 12-month period where you break even or you just get a little bit more, but for the most part, you will doubling. And you've seen what I was showing you on all the data sheets, right? A lot of times, and I'm going to show you, once I'm done showing you this here, I will show you on NVIDIA that sometimes you're tripling your money in 1 month, okay? As long as you're managing appropriately, and managing appropriately means just following your freaking rules. That's all it is, okay? Look at this. First run right here, it either happens or it doesn't, and it happened. Second run, either happens or it doesn't, and it happens, right to the zero line. Third run, it either happens or it doesn't, and it happens again 3 times in a row. So what's good management? Okay, so she gets into the trade here, and she's in, and she's out, and she's done for the day literally in 6 minutes, okay? Maybe even less than that. Now, if Dawn decides that she wants to keep playing because she's on fire, she'll take 25% of her winnings here and do it again, okay? And she'll hold to the zero line. She'll be like, holy cow, that just worked again. And then it comes down again, and she's going to take 25% of her winnings on the second trade, not the first trade. You're going to keep all of your earnings, right? So if she took 8 contracts here, or 10 or 9 or 6, I don't know what she took, but if she took 6 here and she got out, then she's going to take 2 here and get out, and then she'll maybe take 1 contract here and then get out the zero line. See how that works? Don't get greedy, right? Greedy is going to crush you, kill you. Okay. Don't take 10 contracts here, 10 contracts here, and 10 contracts here because you do run the risk of losing. And you guys, you seen the test that I ran yesterday in the simulator, right? So we were up on Tesla, we were up on NVIDIA, $10,000, right? And I was full position on all of those. And the third trade, which was Meta, right? I took a half a position on and it went down a little bit. And what did it do? It ate up half of our profits, right? That little Meta trade that I took half a position on, right, ate 50% of our profits. So this is why it's important when you're getting a winning trade that you only trade the second one with 25% of your winnings and 25%, 25%. I would say by the time you've made 3 trades in a day, you should be done. You know, you're like, it's like those old retired football players. Would you rather go out on a Super Bowl win or would you rather go out on an injury? Okay. Right? If you're going to retire, you want to retire with a Super Bowl ring or do you want to retire with an injury? It's kind of maybe a stupid analogy, but my point is this. You want to end the day on a good note, okay? You got to end the day on a good note, okay? She's saying that if she hadn't had to leave for work, she probably would have gotten in again. So good thing you have a job, right? Good thing your job made you money indirectly. So good job on NVIDIA. But remember, if you're going to take that second trade, it's 25% of your earnings, okay? At the max, 30. All right? So what was another one that set up yesterday? And do we have anything other than NVIDIA? For us, I know Qs, but we don't play the Qs really. Meta came close, but we didn't get the correction. You probably consider yourself a stop out on Meta. Okay. Was that it? Anybody have anything? All right. Well. Oh, MSTR. Amazon. Let's go to those. Okay, MSTR. And then we'll look at Amazon. We got a little bit of time here, so you guys are the best. Okay? If you're not psycho yet, you're going to be. You're going to come into the room crazy, and by the time you leave, I'm going to make you psycho. Greg and Angie, we did coin already. You're late. You're going to have to go back and watch the recorded version of this. You can hear everything I talked about. I talked about you this morning. You missed it. Here's Mr. MSTR or MicroStrategy. Sorry, everybody calls it Mr. What do we know about this ticker, right? This ticker sticker. They're here. Okay, you look at the big trend and you go, hey, the move is to the downside. That doesn't mean that we can't get a trade off of this thing, right? We're a crush it zone traders. That's what we are. We're psychomaniac day traders. Okay, we take trades, high predictable, high probability trades, and we win almost 80-90% of the time on these. Okay, you guys? So look at this. We have a $7 move off of MicroStrategies. How many, like I said, it either works or it doesn't work. Here it is right here at 9:36, a little bit early. I didn't take it. From the crush it zone to the zero line, you're literally done with this trade within 2 minutes. You are. Do you know what MicroStrategy trades on a $7 move? And actually, it's more than it's about a $7 move. Do you know what it pays on that? I mean, you're talking about almost $2 per contract right here, roughly $1.50 to $2 per contract, holding to the zero line. Okay, it either works or it doesn't. There's the first one. You get down to the crush it zone, everyone's nervous because it already hit the crush it zone. But either A, look at these nice candles right here. You can get in the near side of the crush it zone. It either works or it doesn't, and it works. Okay, so you get 2 in a row. We get close to the zero line, but not quite. Now remember, the reason why we keep data is we know the average move off the crush it zone is about $6 on MSTR, and here's a $7 move. So if we're getting in here, right? If you get in up here, you can't expect it to move $6 just because you got in right there, right? You have to still look at where the bottom of that move was to the top and look for your $6 run there, not where you got in, okay? So all you got to do is take this and expect you're going to have a better than 50% chance. I think it's about a 70 or 75% chance that you're going to get it to the zero line. And if you look back and look at everything, which you guys already know because you have your data sheets, right? You guys all have your data sheets on MSTR. You see that off the crush it zone, that it's almost always going to hit the zero line. And if it doesn't, like we had one on Meta or Tesla the other day, I think Tesla or Coin, I don't remember, maybe it was Coin, and it did not hit the zero line. But it didn't matter because I think we got out at the 0.618, but the first candle was so huge on that opening range that it allowed us a larger gap between the crush it zone and the 0.618. I think we had like a $3 or $4 move in that gap. So it makes total sense that you would trim at $3 or $4, okay, on Coin. I think it was Coin anyways. Does that make sense, you guys? You understand what I'm saying there? So yes, we want to hold to the zero line most of the time, but your average run off the crush it zone has to somewhat match that same run. Do you get that? I need someone to tell me they understand what I'm talking about. And if you don't, I need you to tell me. Because what I'm seeing from you guys, some of you, is that you're not looking at the average run off of it. And you're panicking a little bit. You might tell me you're not, but I know that you're panicking a little bit. And you're trimming at the 0.618, the 0.382, and the zero line because you just think it's the right thing to do. But if your average run goes to $3, or if your average run is $6, right, on this, let me just see if I can change it to here. So if you're in here, right here, there's a $7 run, and here it is to the blue line, which is the zero line, $6.48, right? And our average MSTR is, where's it at here? Give me a second. Let me look this up. Our average MSTR is $12. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Okay. Look at this. Okay. That's January. Let's go to April. $12. Here it is right there. So we have better than 50% chance of it running a $6 move on there, right? Right now we're up 243% in MSTR. Yes, this is true. And by the way, the 243% on MSTR for the month of April so far, right? That is being kind. It's actually bigger than that. And a lot of these moves are running around 40 to 50%. So I'm actually keeping it down to a bare minimum. Same thing on March. Look at your average move is about $6. And once again, I'm being kind on the percentages. February, median move is $4-ish. January, we're back to the $6. December, we have a $5. November, about $7. So you guys see how that works, right? This is why the data sheets are so darn important. We need to have those up. You need to understand what your move is going to be, okay? You need to understand the move, okay? And like I said, we're talking about fear. So the first fear that we're trying to accomplish here is to jump out of the airplane. With a perfectly good working parachute, we're going to jump out of an airplane, right? Overcoming that fear of jumping out of an airplane. What does that mean as it relates to trading? It means you get to the crusher zone, you just take the trade. I need confirmation. You don't need confirmation. You just need to jump out of the fucking plane. That's all you got to do. Just jump out. And then as you understand it, 80% of the time, you're going to land on the zero line. But what we're doing now is once you get used to jumping right into the trade, now we have to start learning how to manage, because when you first jump, you're in panic mode and you're panicking, right? You're like, oh my God, when do I do it? And because your subconscious now is kicking in, your conscious mind is out in la la land, has no clue where it's at. Your subconscious is taking over in this extreme situation, okay? And this is why we have to practice it day in and day out so we can manage ourselves down to the zero line. So now right now, a lot of you guys have overcome the fear of jumping into the trade, but you can't figure out why you can't get as green as you could get green. And that's because now we have to start managing and understanding how we're doing that. What's the average run off the crush it zone? How far away is it? Where should I be trimming? Where should I not be trimming? Am I at 15%, 8%? What's QQQ doing? What's the SPY doing? Okay. What's the sediment looking like? All these things are going to start, coming into your head. And you're going to have to start, calculating this stuff out. And right now it might seem difficult, but the more you do this day in and day out, repetitive over and over and over again, it just starts coming really easy. Okay. It just happens. And it's better if you're not trying to trade 3 different strategies at the same freaking time. If you're trying to listen to somebody look at a swing trade and somebody else wants to do, a Tesla because it's going to hit off the 5-minute ORB or something like that, or who knows what it's going to do, and then you're trying to play the crush it zone trade, and then you get into a crush it zone trade, but someone just said, "Oh, I'm getting into Tesla because it has the opening range breakout." You are not going to manage your trade appropriately. And once again, I'm going to use Dawn as an example. There might have been a time, when you're trading all these opportunities, but we got Dawn settled down to say, Dawn, forget about everything else around you and just look at one ticker. Okay? So she's on one ticker. She's over doubled her money in April so far. Okay? And she's not looking or listening to anybody else. She's probably a lot more relaxed, a lot more calm. Her coffee must taste better. Okay? The donuts are sweeter, right? And everything is much better in life because she's breathing nice, clean oxygen and just going, you know what? I'm just taking the NVIDIA trade. Oh, it didn't set up today. Okay. Off to her. I'm going to go feed the goats. Okay. That's done. But if she's here frantically, I can't miss an opportunity. I can't miss an opportunity. What's the next opportunity? I need this. Oh, what's that? What's he doing? What's here to? Oh my God. He just made money in MSTR. Why am I on NVIDIA? She's not doing any of that stuff. 99% of us do that. We look at everything and anything because we don't want to miss an opportunity. And if for day traders, it would be so illogical to not look at opportunities. That's what we're here for. We're supposed to capitalize on opportunities. Okay? Take a step back and capitalize, like I've been teaching Dawn, capitalize on your strategy on NVIDIA. That's what you're going to do. That's how you're going to be very consistent. Okay? If you guys need help with this, that's why I'm here. Okay? Let's look at one more that Carlos talked about. And we're going to look at AMZN. Apple also set up, by the way. Apple also set up. Do something here. I got to put the secret levels in here. This is all secret. Secret. I've got a secret. Do you guys like the sticks? You guys ever heard of the sticks? What's that? How does that robot song go? Oh mi amigato, Mr. Roboto. I just screwed that up. I don't even know how the words go. Yeah, but what does he say? Da 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 robato. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Is that in Espanol? I know that's a song, but what does Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto? What is Domo arigato? Is that, did you just make that up? Because what I hear is something similar, but I make up my own words. Do you ever listen to a song and just make up your own freaking words? Like, fuck it, I don't know what he's saying. I'm just gonna make up my own words. And you're jamming out to it, and then someone's like, "They don't say that." And you're like, "I don't care, dude. I'm enjoying the song. Leave me alone. I don't care what it says." Like, that song, Dreamweaver? That came out when I was like 8 or 9 years old or something like that. And I don't know why I like the song, but I thought it was a guy named James Weeba. And Dreamweaver was, "Ooh, James Weeba." And I would always ask my mom, "Who's James Weeba? Well, who's this James Weeba guy?" Anyways, and then I think that other song by the, I know we all have songs, right? What's the one by the Rolling Stones? The Pizza's Burning. Something, the pizza's burning. I walked a mile and my feet are hurting. Never ate a pizza so burned. Anyways, racked up like a douche, but I think that really, it's a deuce. It's a car. That one I didn't mess up. I knew that one because if you're a car guy, you know what a deuce is, right? Okay, so here is Amazon. Can you guys see Amazon? Mr. Roboto. We got to trade like a robot, right? Okay, here it is. Here's the 2 minute. Here's the 5 minute. Here's your crush it zone. We got a bear mode on that one also. Here is our arrow. We're going to talk about these in a minute here. This is super exciting. You guys are going to love this arrow stuff here coming up. This is not the crush it zone, something we're practicing in the sim, but here it is. It's really basic. It's simple, and paid a lot of money. Normally, I don't trade Amazon because it doesn't pay super good. It's kind of a thickly traded stock like Apple. You really got to get these big runs. We make more money on tickers like MSTR, Meta, Coin, Tesla, Nvidia. But let's not negate the fact that Amazon and Apple do work, and they are great crush it zone setups, right? Just like PLTR is also a good one. It doesn't pay super good, but you know what? If you have that opportunity and you're there and you want to take it, it works. And it's pretty simple. Amazon, I don't know the exact stats on it, but it is very similar to AMD. And you have a beautiful winning trade. You got channeling coming down here, so you might as well stay in the trade. And here's the cool thing about the 5-minute on Amazon. I used to do this a lot, and I kind of forgot about it. I should probably start thinking about this some more. But I stay in the trade till I get a green candle, right? If I'm going to the bear side. So I got a bear mode signal here, and I get into my trade here, and I just stay in the trade. And remember, I told you, once we're below this beautiful red line right here, there's no sense in getting out until we get back above that red line. So, this is called management. This is on your way back down. So all you have to do, right, is just get in that trade blindly and stay in it. If you got red candles, wait for your first green candle. Just wait for your first green candle to get out if you're already winning the trade. Here is an add spot, right? I would add to the trade right here at the 0 line. This is not a take profit. This is an add spot on the 5. But I know that most of us are still working on this muscle, right? This is a muscle that has to be worked day in and day out, okay? And a lot of us are going to be out of the trade by now when a signal comes up and says, add to the trade. And you're going to be like, but I'm up so much money. It would be so silly and stupid for me to sell right now, okay? But at some point, you're going to have to trust. And what's the worst case scenario? You get stopped out. Okay, but if you get this much into the trade, believe me, I'm not going to deny the fact that it is probably not going to be a bad idea to take some off the table. But if I did get this arrow right here, I don't know what I would do. I definitely would add to the position, but I would probably wait till I'm below the 50 SMA at some point. This bull mode would scare the shit out of me. Not scare the shit out of me, but it would make me at least think, hey, you know what? Time to grab some profit here and sell some contracts. So a little bit ambiguous, but at the same time, you got to be able to trust this. Even if you'd have been all in, just this little move from here down to the bull, you got $1.85, and exponentially, this here would pay so much more than the big run from here to here, right? Exponentially. I don't know exactly, but it's going to pay a little bit more than even this run from here to here, okay? All right, that's it. What I have for today, like I said, they set up on Apple, and it's the same story over and over and over again. You hit the crush it zone. It either works or it doesn't, okay? And let's move on to some really cool stuff, right? Let's move on to some really cool stuff. And Greg, I recorded this for you, so I'm going to stop the recording now. And those of you that want to see the super cool stuff that can't, you're going to have to check us out in the room, because this is only for members only, for Psychomaniacs, all right? So, stream is stopping for Greg, and the rest of you Psychomaniacs are going to get a bonus round here.